Calgary Stampeders game day video. This will be for week 11 to start off the 2024 CFL Regular season, or the start of week 11, as I meant to say, as the Calgary Stampeders, they're going to be back at home taking on the Ottawa RedBlacks. This will be the Thursday, August the 15th game. It'll be a 7 p.m. kickoff Mountain, and me personally, I'm also back at home in familiar territory. That's why I'm a little late with this game day video, as it was late Wednesday night that I got home from Toronto. But looking at this game at hand, the Calgary Stampeders, they are still third in the West Division with a 4-5 record, and it's been split up. They were 4-0 at home and 5-0-5 on the road, while the Ottawa RedBlacks, they've been much better this season. They actually are now, they have the odd record of 5-2-1, second in the East Division, as last week both the Ottawa RedBlacks and the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they had a controversial 22-22 tie. I just heard it was controversial. I mean, last week I was on the road on holidays, so I didn't get to watch any other CFL action, especially being I was in a hostel. But then I know last week my Calgary Stampeders, they looked good offensively against the Toronto Argonauts, but the Toronto defense and definitely special teams got the better end of them, as Toronto won 39-25. So then that was the difference with the pick six and the punt return for the touchdown, which I'm going to say is going to be a factor for the Calgary Stampeders this game, because they're going to have to figure out Ottawa's defense from the Week 8 loss, which I can say that was still the worst loss the Calgary Stampeders have suffered in 2024, when they lost 33-6 in Ottawa, where the defense was all over Calgary, and then special teams, well, the last two road games, well, they're going to have to watch out for that Kylin Pimpleton guy, as he had a big game against the Calgary Stampeders where he had a punt return for a touchdown. That pretty much sealed the game for Calgary in the third quarter back in Week 8, where there was no hope for any comeback. And then last week when I was at BMO Field, Janarian Grant had a punt return for a touchdown. Also, it was in the third quarter, if I remember, which pretty much changed the momentum for the Toronto Argonauts. So, however, both of those games are on the road, so maybe some familiar settings and home cooking will be the key for the Calgary Stampeders. But there's going to be some lineup changes. But the one big lineup change that I was actually somewhat positive to see is the fact that Dietrich Mills will have more support, run support. Not mean baseball analogy, because I also got some Blue Jay games last week when I was in Toronto. But Kylin Hill is going to be Calgary Hill, I think, if I said the name right, is going to make his debut for the Calgary Stampeders to the running back, because Edmonds is on the injury list, and DJ Mills is taking some time away from personal stuff. And then Ron Tessevue is going to be in fullback, the player that we drafted in the global draft this past year. So at least he'll have some more run support. I mean, there was one change on the offensive line as Tate got released, and Sean McEwen, the center, has been injured. So there could be some holes to have to plug in, and hopefully could protect Jake Mayer and provide some openings for the run game. But I think right now I'm still feeling that it's the defense and the special teams that's going to have to pick up the game for the Calgary Stampeders. I think offensively we've been fine. I mean, both Reggie Bagleton and as well as Mark and Michelle have been big on receiving for the Calgary Stampeders, and there's always going to be an adventure with the return game, especially when we lost Derek Brooks a few weeks ago. But do I'm going to have to dare say yet another close game at home. I mean, yeah, we're 4-0 at home. I'm just saying we won by, I think it was 8 points against Hamilton. And then we won that game in overtime on a field goal against Winnipeg. And then we beat BC by 1 point. And then we beat Toronto by 4. So it could be another close game. If Calgary could play to their full ability, realizing that the Ottawa RedBlacks, they're having a resurgence this year. And I forgot one other big item for the Ottawa RedBlacks side of the ball is Jeremiah Mazzoli. Yeah. Remember that star quarterback formerly from the Toronto or the Hamilton Tiger Cats? Well, Jeremiah Mazzoli actually is going to make his return off of injured list for the last couple of years for the Ottawa RedBlacks. So it'll be interesting to see how he looks as well. But they already have Drew Brown and Dustin Crum. So I think Ottawa, if they can get anything out of Jeremiah Mazzoli, I think Ottawa's going to finally, give the fans there some good football, which I haven't seen much of that in my lifetime as a CFL fan, going to the original Roughriders, Renegades, and RedBlacks. So always be nice to see, a good game. And also the fact that I'm back in, I guess, familiar surroundings, even though it's not as glamorous. At least it'll be nice to be back in familiar settings where I know most people are going to be cheering for me and my team. So, I've also been fighting a little bit of I guess you to get that travel cold. So, sorry if I sound a little rough. And then eventually I'll have to get around to uploading some content that I have had, recorded when I was on the road, just with being busy with, sightseeing and being on the road and slower Wi-Fi. I wasn't able to get anything uploaded. When I did, I was barely able to get that last week's game day post when I finally settled in my hostel at the Same Sun back in Toronto. And that was actually great when I stayed at a hostel. So, closing out and say, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, just make sure you hit like, subscribe by my other social media links down in the description below. I just want to say, go Stamps go. Thanks for watching. And after this game, the Calgary Stampeders actually will have a bye next week. So the next game for the Calgary Stampeders will be the big Labor Day Classic. That will be on Monday, September the 2nd, as we'll have our first of back-to-back, or first of 3 against the dreaded Edmonton Elks. But maybe with the new owner in place, I might be bringing back the Eskimos name. But we'll be taking on Edmonton at the next game either way. So I just want to say, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.